Welcome to the University of Melbourne. It's very exciting to have you join us at the University of Melbourne in the Bachelor of Science. So if you look at the chat, you can please record your attendance here today via the website. So I'm going to introduce myself first. My name's Anne-Marie. I'm the coordinator of the Global Environment, which is the first semester subject for Earth Sciences. So for those of you interested in the Earth Sciences, we have the subject set between the Global Environment and Understanding Planet Earth in Semester 2. So it's fantastic that a lot of you will be able to be back on campus for local Australian students next week. And those international students who were already in the country. And we will be delivering lectures and practicals online, so I'll talk to that as well, so that you can access the course easily from international students as well. So welcome everyone. There's a lot of people just joining us in the first few minutes, so I might wait another minute or two before we launch into the details of how to get started in the Earth Sciences. For those who are just joining, if you could please check out the chat. There's a website there where you can record your attendance today as well, please. So my name's Anne-Marie and I'm the course coordinator for the Global Environment. And there's a lot of people still joining. Fantastic. So please check out that chat link. There's a place to record your attendance for today. Thanks. And in another minute, we will get stuck into the getting started session after we've had the last few people joining us. So it's fantastic to see so many of you have been accepted into Melbourne University and getting started this week. And hopefully you'll be able to join the commencement ceremony as well, which will be online. There are tours for local students tomorrow as well. So I may get to meet some of you in person tomorrow when you come on the Bachelor of Science tours in the School of Earth Sciences. I'll be there, which is great to have everybody back on campus as well. Okay, fantastic. So thanks for joining us. If you've just joined, please do register your attendance online by the link in the chat. So my name's Anne-Marie Tozzolini. I'm the coordinator for the Global Environment and for Understanding Planet Earth in Semester 2. So what I'm going to do today is to share my screen to take you through how the best way to approach the subject for Semester 1. So I'll pass you to Jordan in the chat. Please, Jordan, if you wouldn't mind getting back to the question from Kevin about the link. Maybe Jordan can help you out with that technology. Thank you. So let's go to the PowerPoint and discuss what is the best way for you to approach the global environment. And so I'd like to welcome you to Planet Earth, particularly those of you who are from out of this world, because the Earth is just such a fascinating place, and it really is just the most exciting subject for Semester 1, having a look at the combination of the different aspects of sciences that we use in Earth science to help us understand our planet Earth and planets beyond in the solar system. So the most exciting thing happened just on Friday, where the Friday Australia time, where the Mars rover Perseverance was able to land on Mars. And this is an Earth science mission. The science that we use to understand our Earth is being used to analyze the rocks on Mars and search for early life. So this is what we'll be focusing on a lot of this semester. We'll be looking at how the different spheres in Earth and the rocks called the lithosphere interact with the water and the atmosphere on Earth, and we can transpose a lot of that information and help us to understand Mars as well. So little Perseverance is just like a geologist going to Mars and sampling the rocks, looking at the chemistry, understanding the physics that erodes away, where the water has come into play. So it was geologists who first recognized that there was evidence for water on Mars. And now a lot of the work that's being done on Earth to understand early life, being done by geologists, has found that the more hot springs and deep ocean settings really may have been the place where early life evolved. So searching for life on Mars, geologists understand how to look for the limestones, like in the Jezero crater where Perseverance is starting out. So it's very exciting that these first few images were coming through, and here are the two leads of the project, and both of them are geoscientists. So in the lecture series, we'll be covering a lot of the topics, including looking for understanding early life here and looking for early life and water on Mars, but also how you can become an earth scientist by using observations, analytical skills, and then using that to think critically to solve problems. So there's a significant part of the semester will be the practicals, which are compulsory. So do you prefer meteorites or dinosaurs? Because we all know they don't mix too well. And you can see the continents shifting over time here. The plate tectonics that you've learned about in school really plays a major part in our understanding of how the Earth is today and what it will be like into the future as well. And so the tectonics is often the main driver of the climate changes through Earth's history. So we'll be looking at understanding how we know about these interactions between the lithosphere and atmosphere, and how those climate drivers are really significant in changing Earth's climate in the past, but we can use that to understand how to mitigate against climate change in the future. So these are the processes that shape our Earth. The global environment, you will look at the evolution of Earth as a dynamic planet, those different rates of processes and cycles within the Earth system that are so critical to understand in order to develop environmental and climate change programs to mitigate against these degradations. So we're going to focus on the lithosphere, how it drives the hydrosphere of the atmosphere, and also how that interacts with biosphere. So I'm a paleontologist, and you can see my fossils I collected in Antarctica in the background. We can find these evidence of life in the rocks themselves. So it's really interesting and fascinating history of Earth's development and evolution. So the way that those different spheres on Earth interact is the focus of this subject, and how that lithosphere really can drive the hydrosphere and atmosphere and biosphere through Earth's history. But how do we break that down? We're going to focus on different aspects of these Earth systems through the subject. So we cover a lot of ground and fascinating science here. And so we're going to break it into a few different aspects. So for example, the rocks, the lithosphere, those amazing layers of the Earth, just like in the Grand Canyon, this vast canyon exposing millions and millions of years down through the layers. And we can read these layers just like pages in a book, looking back through Earth and understanding those changes. And that helps us to, as I say, develop our understanding for what we're going to be doing to face the future. So how do these rocks form and why? You can see that the lithosphere is intricately linked with the biosphere, the hydrosphere and atmosphere. And because they're so intertwined, you cannot study one without the other. So that's why we're going to focus on different aspects of the lithosphere, then the hydrosphere, then the atmosphere, but you'll cover a lot of similar aspects and get different points of view from the science side versus the geography side as well. So processes in the lithosphere, this is what you'll be looking at, those big plate tectonic pictures of where the earthquakes, how they control the earthquakes and volcanoes around the world, how the landscape surfaces evolved and are formed, how glacial cycles behave and in relation to our orbit around the sun, the past climates and sea level changes, intricate detail of how we understand these hydrosphere and atmosphere changes driven by the lithosphere to also drive evolution of life on Earth. So this geological time really is an amazing aspect, not covered in a lot of the other sciences. So that when you're focusing more on the surface processes, again, we'll be looking at the cycles and the interactions between the lithosphere and the hydrosphere to develop those rivers and glaciers and caves and deserts. So also understanding that interaction between the biosphere and the physical environment, because we know how much of an influence humans have had on our environment, and we need to develop better management plans for the future. So when we are focusing on the atmosphere, again, the atmosphere is not a system in isolation on Earth. It interacts closely with the oceans. For example, El Nino, Southern Oscillation, the sea level changes, and those glacial cycles, again, driven by the sun and the plate tectonics. So this is why it's a really amazing broad brush subject, looking at all these different aspects of how the processes shape our Earth. So my name's Anne-Marie. Please do contact me via email during the weekdays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. I will answer your emails during the week. And if you're on campus, I'll be meeting you on Mondays and Wednesdays in the practical classes, and I am in every second Thursday. So please keep in contact. I am here to help, to guide you through the semester, and there are various ways in which I have put a lot of information on the LMS. So I'll take you through just getting started on the LMS as well, so that you know where to start for next week. So the main thing is that you do need to get on board, whether you're international using the online access, or if you're local and able to come in. The lectures will be delivered in person Monday, Wednesdays and Thursdays at 2:15 in the Fritz Lever Theatre, which is the School of Earth Sciences. So for those locals able to go on tour tomorrow, I'll be meeting you in the Skeets Laboratory, and you'll be able to find the Fritz Lever as well in the School of Earth Sciences. So our building is across from across Swanston Street flyover bridge from the physics building. For those of you online, it's really more important that you are timetabling these lectures into your schedule and keeping up. The main difference between those who excel in this subject and those who fall behind is because they are not keeping up each week. So it's really imperative, if you are not physically able to come, that you do in fact still keep up in your schedule with every single lecture. So get on board with the lecturers. Professor Malcolm Wallace will start the semester focusing on the rocks and the lithosphere, as I said, how it drives many of the other systems on Earth. You will then be following in through the lectures with Hene, and he is our surface processes specialist from School of Geography. And we follow up with Professor Todd Lane, who is a climate extremes expert and involved with a lot of the International Panel of Climate Change Science. So we have some fantastic experts to guide you through the semester. Also the practicals, you'll be meeting me on either Monday 9, Monday 12, or Wednesday 3:15 for the 2-hour compulsory lecture. If you're doing the online lecture, beg your pardon, online practicals are at 3:15 as well on the Wednesday. So whether it's COVID free or thankfully Velociraptor free, please remember to bring your masks and be COVID safe, so you'll be able to check in. The practical manual is available on the LMS, so I will guide you through, and they are compulsory. And the textbook is really essential way for you to go over the material covered in the lectures to understand the concepts before you come to the practical classes. So it's really important to not only listen to the lectures and attend, but also do the readings. And it will really open your eyes to a whole new world. In terms of assessment available for your information on the LMS as well, 60% will be the theory exam, following on from the expert lectures, and the practicals that are compulsory form 20% each class. We will do short quizzes, and there will be a poster assignment in groups as well. So nice and easy. Now let's check out the LMS, and I'll guide you around a bit so that you can make sure you stay on top of this subject. There's a lot of content this semester, so it's really important to do this week by week. I will outline the course, the readings and assessments for you. I will pop some discussion on the discussion board each week as well. Then we have fortnightly sessions with some informal quizzes, as well as you need to maintain, if you're not able to attend the lectures, make sure you watch the lectures, read the text, and self-correct your practicals every week. The answers will be posted on the LMS. There are formal quiz assessments in the weekly practical compulsory classes worth 20%. You will be doing posters in groups with input assessed by peers, so that we have a final online Zoom session for sharing what you've learnt about the posters. That's another 20%, and the final exam 60%. If you have any kind of queries or questions or concerns, or are unable to come into the practical classes, please contact me via email. It is very important that you stay in touch with me as the course coordinator. And I can guide you through any special consideration processes as well if that's required. Please do not come to class if you are feeling unwell. If you're local and you were hoping to attend class after last year, so many of you, I can tell, are very excited that we're running in person, face-to-face, but we do need to maintain a COVID-safe environment. So please don't come to class if you're feeling unwell, and just contact me so we can discuss follow-up learning. If you, as you come to university, we are expecting a certain level of academic skills, of writing, of producing work, and also of the expected levels of reading. So there's a lot of academic skill basis that is expected. And if you want some help with that, please approach the Academic Skills Unit. They are fantastic. They run workshops, but you can also just email them. They have a lot of information just on line that you can download as well for help. So this is a fantastic resource that you can use for all your subjects. I shall now show you the LMS. And there's a couple of chats, so fantastic. We'll be able to access these slides. I certainly will pop these slides up on the LMS. So I'll just share that with you now. Here. So this shows you on the home page of our LMS is the welcome, and this covers the content that we will be going through to show you the integration of how we combine all these different sciences in our sciences, the geology, the geography, and the climates and environmental science. So this is the focus of the content for our semester, and the subject overview is really your go-to page. If you're not sure about anything, try this subject overview page. I've popped in a course outline and lecture schedule, which I'll share in a few minutes. And there's also what you need to do, what's expected of you for online participation. Okay, so all of you, even if you're able to come face-to-face, you do still need to check out the online participation aspects. There'll be a video mailback, there's discussion boards, there's fortnightly Zoom sessions, question and answer sessions with informal quizzes. There's the textbook fully available on the LMS. There's the practical answers every week to self-correct your work, okay? And obviously the in-class assessments and poster information. Where do I attend when I come to Parkville campus? If you're not able to do the tours tomorrow, there's a map to help you out find our building and the Fritz Lever Theatre for lectures and the practicals in the Skeets Laboratory. For the lectures, click on Lecture Capture. It will take you straight to the recordings page. And also every lecture there are PDF notes and summaries so that you can access that through the LMS. The textbook is copyright free now. It's very, it's out of copyright rather. It's freely available on the LMS for you to download. So make sure you read each week the suggested readings before you come to the following week's practical. And all the practical information, including the laboratory manual and the suggested answers, are under the laboratory news module. So all of these links and the assessment can all will take you to the modules page. So there is a specific lecture capture page for lecture capture recordings. There's a specific assignments page for all your assignments information. Here are the lectures which will be posted, and here are the modules. So this is all the individual links that I've just talked you through. In the welcome, you can find the staff information, all of our email contact. So if you have questions about the lectures, of course, please email your the experts in the fields as well. And the course schedule. If you have queries about special consideration or student support, okay, academic honesty and academic skills, please check out the student support module. The textbook is freely available here. And here's the lecture capture recordings and the lecture notes as PDF files. Just a bit further down, we have the laboratory news. So I've already posted the laboratory manual. The laboratory manual is compulsory to bring to the practical. If you have a pen on your tablet, then that's great. If not, then you probably will need to print it off, because we do a lot of diagrams and maps that we need to analyze during the classes. So this is where you get your hands-on learning of how you can train to be a scientist, and not only at the analytical side like the physics and maths, but also that really critical thinking and problem solving that we develop from observation skills. So that's why we have some fantastic, for example, the meteorites, these rocks from outer space to start with, where you can get your hands on for the learning for semester. So it's really exciting semester. And so please do print out and bring the manual with you to the practical classes. Back on the subject overview page then, let's check out the schedule. So this is what you need to do every week. So that's why this is a really important table. It helps show you what each lecture will be, who will be lecturing, the summary of the lecture. And remember that there's no practical classes next week in week 1. We start the following week. And so it just tells you not only which class we'll be covering, but where you have assessments, when the mid-semester break is, and the final practical being the Zoom poster sessions. So that's a really important table. Make sure you keep on top of that as your essentially your diary for the semester. Fantastic. So that's enough from me. Before we run out of time, I'd like to see if there's any questions that we have in the chat here. Fantastic. Lovely to meet you guys, and welcome back to those who started mid-year last year as well. So there's a question about those continuing on from semester 2 of last year. Absolutely. We, of course, cover some of the similar concepts, but I think you'll find that this semester, because we're looking at how the lithosphere is interacting with the atmosphere and hydrosphere, that there are quite a lot of different aspects to the subject. And so there's a lot of content covered, and a lot of new content looking concepts more looking at the climate systems, for example. So the lectures will be on lecture capture, recordings for those who are accessing lectures online. For those who are attending lectures on campus, Professor Malcolm Wallace will be there in person to interact with you. So he is an expert in his field internationally. He is widely known for his research into early Earth and evidence for early life on Earth as well. So he is a very knowledgeable, very interesting, and it's really great that we can get you guys back on campus so that you can actually come into those lectures and into the classroom and ask questions all the way through. So the lectures will be available online for those who are not in the city, and as well, they will be delivered face-to-face by the lecturers, the experts. Okay, so another question about the practicals. There are 3 sessions, but they are repeat every week. So you just choose the one that fits best in with your timetable. So next Monday, there will be no practical. We like to follow up from after you've had some of the lecture content first of all. So you're going to be looking at starting with looking at that outline from the semester. You will actually start with the origin of the whole solar system and the origin of the Earth, and that's why we have amazing evidence from the meteorites that you'll be looking at in the class. So it's great if you can attend. You'll actually be able to touch these meteorites from out of this world, from outer space. And the practicals will be run online at the same time on the Wednesday. So it's just 1 practical class per week, but they are compulsory. Okay, and if you have chosen the online lectures, the system somehow lets students go beyond the cutoff number who fit in the lecture theatre room. So the Fritz Lecture Theatre, Fritz Lerver Lecture Theatre has a cutoff capacity, obviously. So for those of you wanting to attend in person, I believe that quite a lot of students did choose to go for online lectures. So there may be about another 5 people who can change out of the online enrolment into the in-person face-to-face enrolment for lectures. So about 5 more people, I believe, are able to do that. And another question, the Prac-Tute classes for ENVS have been full. So there are practical on a Monday. It shouldn't be full. It should have 45, and we're only currently sitting at 28 on Monday at 9 a.m. There's potentially 1 more person can fit in as well on a Monday 12, I think it was. And unfortunately, the Wednesday one is full. So please try to choose the Monday one. Otherwise, we're already running 3 sessions, so there should be plenty of room there. Okay, fantastic. So thanks for all your questions. And I really am excited about having students back next week, and a lot of locals, I think, are sick of being in their own houses. So it'll be a fantastic way to learn, coming into the classroom and being able to meet you all. And hopefully you'll be able to do the tours tomorrow with the Bachelor of Science, and I may even meet you then. Otherwise, I will see you face to face in the lecture next week. At the introductory start, and of course the practicals in week 2. So there are no practical classes next week, just to emphasize that. They will begin in week 2. So please follow that schedule online. And I'd love to thank you all for turning up today, for listening, for asking questions. Thanks so much. All the best.